So how do you know if you should invest in your idea or your business or your trademarks? A lot of people come to a patent lawyer or IP lawyer to ask, like, can you tell me if my idea is a good idea? Is this one going to make money? Is this something that's worth doing? And I like to address this. I've done other videos on it, but it's an important point because unfortunately I have colleagues that will answer that question and tell you whether they think it's worth it. But the problem is, what you're getting is whether that particular individual, who, by the way, is a patent lawyer and is not you, um, understands and sees your vision, and to them, whether it seems like it's worth it to them, whether they would do it. And mind you, they have a career in patent law, presumably, or IP law, so they're not you. And I think it's really important to understand when you ask someone else whether it's worth it, you're asking them for their personal opinion. A patent lawyer or an IP lawyer does not have any particular expertise about what is in your head and what is worth it to you. So, because the question of is it worth it, ultimately, the only answer that matters is it worth it to you in your life, in your business? So be careful who you ask that question, or go ahead and ask the question. It's interesting to see what people say, but don't take what they say as gospel, truth. There is no truth about whether it's worth it except your own. Is it worth it to you? So in order to, it's still an important question. Obviously, you want to be able to answer that for yourself. So just remember that you're the person in the best position to understand your vision and your future. And it's up to you. You're the one that's making a decision, ultimately, what future you want. A future with this business or this patent, or without. Okay? So think it through and take a look at, do some investigation, look at the numbers. The more you can make it real and concrete while you're thinking it through, the easier, the more in focus this will become for you. So I'm going to give you some ideas here. I really encourage you to actually put it down, pen and paper, do some research, actually sketch it out. So if it's a trademark, think about what is the value of that trademark. Maybe it's a trademark for a line of products that you're going to be launching. And maybe it's a trademark for a line of products that you've already launched. Or maybe it's a trademark you're rebranding and you're going to like really go all in on marketing this new brand. So think about what it's worth if you can hold the value of all those marketing dollars and not have any of those leads going to your similarly named competitors. So if you can think about what is it worth if I'm getting 100% of the value from these marketing. So if you're looking for a 10x return on your marketing dollars and you get all 10x of those, worth of those leads, okay? And then think about if you have 3 or 4 competitors and they're all using similar names, and now your word of mouth and the value of your marketing dollars are getting spread out among the 4 of you and your 3 similarly named competitors. So your business, think about what that would cost you in a year, to the difference between you being the only one with that name and everybody else. They can have your three other competitors there can have similar names to one another, but you will stand out with your unique brand that's protected with a trademark so that they cannot get close to it. So think about what that would be worth, you being able to maintain that market position and that reputation that you're investing in, and force your competitors to compete over here with similar names, versus you've got an explosion of similar names. You've got four people that are, three competitors that are copying your name, and so all that word of mouth is getting confused. If you really think through and just look at the first year, I mean, this is something that it will keep paying off year after year. In fact, it will go up in value with trademarks as you get more and more well known under that brand. The value of that brand goes up, not down. Because it's really holding the value of the goodwill that you're creating. This is why I think trademarks are one of the smartest investments that any business can make, and it's the reason that I think that they should not be done as cheap as you can find, because you really need them to be strategic and strong, because that's like the foundation of everything that you're building. But that's another video. So that's one way to think about the value of the trademarks and whether it's worth investing in, okay? Like, how much is it worth for you to hold that premium reputation and hold the 100% of the value of the reputation that you're building? So with a patent, maybe it's a brand new thing. And maybe it doesn't even exist out there. It's an improvement on something else. So you can totally investigate the size of the market. Just look at like who's going to buy this. If it's a pet thing, what's the size of the market? If it and is it going up and down? And what are the current trends? And what are people looking for? You can find actual numbers online. So luckily this research is much easier to do now than it was 20 years ago. 30 years ago when I started. So look at that, and then look at like how much would you charge at retail. Figure, if you want to be super conservative, figure a 20% profit margin on each unit, and however many units. Or you could, let's say you do 1% or 2% of the market of the annual revenue. I mean, that would be amazing. 2% is considered a good response. So just be super conservative and actually look at those numbers. And that way you can actually see what's real. That is real potential. That's not pie in the sky, I'm dreaming of a number. That's putting it based in fact and reality, okay? So I encourage you to do that if you're trying to determine what is the value of a patent. You look at like what is the size, how much is that worth, and then think about how much it's worth how much it's worth if you get to be the only one selling that product, and then what would it look like without a patent, so that as soon as you launch, you could have multiple copycats, and really just look at the difference there. That's going to be the value of your patent, and you definitely want to think about like what is the ROI that I'm going to get. So if that number is, under $100,000, if the size of the opportunity is like under $100,000 for a year of sales, I would say that might be a little bit small for a utility patent. I mean, it completely depends on you. That's the other thing, is there's other things besides numbers that you want to think about, because that's not the reason that everybody gets a patent. I mean, it's usually one of the reasons, but also people want to be able to see something out there and know that they invented it. There's all of these reasons are reasons why it might be worth it to you. So put down the non-financials as well as the financials when you're really thinking it through. And then just really think about, like, is it worth it to you? All right. So I hope that was helpful. It's Catherine Cavella, IP Works Law. And just remember to be skeptical when you're asking people if they think it's worth it. Remember, they're telling you what they think, and they are not you. And by the way, entrepreneurs are oddballs, and most people around you are not going to be entrepreneurial like you are. That's my next video. So hope that was helpful. Catherine Cavella, IP Works Law.